Reporting live with the MK Ultra civil brand and the merger defamation of character case with the officers who are continuously violating the policy of a constitutional rights and laws failing their oaths. And the MK Ultra, LaQuan, Harris, New World organizations. And then let's see where we're going with this. Is the chief executive officer, the treasurer, the president, and secretary, and the foreign intent of a corporation when it's not a LLC. So some people, like the employers in the foreign entity, treasurer, president, secretary, treasurer, and secretary, of course, 226 Linda Avenue, Hawthorne, New York, and the Greater. And when you have the Volta, FEMA, Rikers Island is a foreign entity in a federal government takeover. And when you have a coherent employer and the JCCA and a merger, when the JCCA and you just have the MERGER and a merger and the JCCA yesterday, historically yesterday, and bye bye. St. Luke's when you just have a bye-bye and a merger, and then it just happens to be a copyrights and trademarks is the Volta Mount Sinai Human Resources Administration. Then since the merger gets so coherent, so bad, foreign entity is the Volta Police Fraternal Enterprise and Merchants. When we do things coherently, and when you're coherent and a leader and a role model employer who happens to have a residency degree, and then you substantially have certificates stamped by the Secretary of State, and then your aunt just happens to be a criminal court judge, Tara A. Collins, criminal court judge, and her birthday substantially just happens to be tomorrow. And happy upcoming birthday to Tara, and that's exactly real to Tara A. Collins, my aunt, criminal court, Tara A. Collins. And happy upcoming birthday to Reverend Martha A. Jacobs, my stepmother, because when you're a reverend and you're not a minister, it's for sure enough Tyrone Minister Tyrone Jones, and the birthday is my father's birthday next week, Minister Tyrone USA Jones. That's right. And upcoming birthday, Janice Huff. I repeat, NBC anchor of still employee working for NBC, and my ex-employee when I used to work for NBC. That's real. Happy upcoming birthday to employee news anchor Miss Janice Huff, employee for NBC. And then, what do you know? Whoa, last but not least, but the whole coherent employer, my birthday, that's right. It's my birthday coming up, and it's in a couple of days. And because I'm an employer and I don't play around, and I keep things copaesthetically coherent, when you are narrator, chief executive officer, president, secretary, and treasurer, and it happens to be a foreign entity, and like I said, not the LLC and the S corporation, where foreign entity. That's right. LaQuan to the Rothschild, Rockefeller, Horace, and that's my name because substantially you got the Victorian and Georgian, Victorian, Familia, and all the names that I mentioned substantially. And the employers, that's real, that's right. When you say the best for me, it's me, myself, and I, and that's real, to the vote to the her, and that's the employer. When you have say the best for me, and that's the vote to Jones, that's right, it's the employer, me, myself, and I. Beyonce, sit down. Then you have a reputable, bona fide, myself, me, and that's right, the coherent mentality, and employer, myself. And like I did quote in the quotations live reporting with the MK Ultra, LaQuan, Harris, New World Order, when you have copyrights and trademarks, and it's just a team, substantially of professionalism, and individuals that are coherent, and not the LLC trying to get over, and not the little, how do you say it? That's right, non-for-profit. No, exactly. It's the S Corporation Foreign Entity International corporation that's a government corporation. Because, you know, people like myself and individuals like Recap Janice Huff and, you know, the choices we make are logical. Minister USA Tyrone Jones, Reverend Martha Jacobs, and the belts and titles you have when you have a chaplain, when you have a clergy staff, and of course her and my stepmother's birthday, and when you have a minister, and then myself, which happens to be a fraternal organization owner, and this has to do with the real coherent corporation and a Masonic lodge, and it just happens to be a Mason, which I am. I don't sugarcoat it, and I don't have to hold my tongue. When you have a Reverend, you have Reverend Martha Jacobs, you have Tyrone Minister USA Tyrone Jones, and then you have the Masonic Lodge Mason with 32 degrees, 32 degrees. That's right, the Mason and Masonry. When you have that Mason to Devota and the Devota Fraternal or the organization substantially, and there's the EIN number. And when I don't have to brag or even complain about things of that crying over spilt milk, is what I just don't do. Reporting live with the MK Ultra Mind Control segment for the coherent organization of a real and not that LLC, like I said. Because when it's the LL, you just don't steal. It's LaQuan, Lestat, Devota, Rothschild, Rockefeller, Harris Jones. And if you have a book, you have perhaps and read one. Till next time is what you do. Read a book.